All right. So one thing that I always tell people is that when it comes to trading, always figure out what works for you and what doesn't. Sure, you get always figuring that out first of all, because when it comes to trading, also there are so many strategies, there are so many entry models. There's retail, there's SMC, there's ICT, there's total soup. Everybody have renamed their strategy in different ways. But one common thing that will never go extinct is your normal support and resistance and the candlesticks itself. So everybody is literally trying to make money from the market. That's the first thing that you need to understand. And while I was, how will I put it now? While I was studying, over time, I realized that some models usually give higher chances of winning whenever they happen, although they take a lot of time to form. But most of the time, like 6, 7, 8 out of 10 times, you will make profits from that trade. And this strategy usually works majorly on higher time frame. It works very well on higher time frame when you see it, especially on these 4 hours, 2 hours, and 1 hour. I will show you different example. Is just like a practical. Then you can now go back to your system and study it and figure it out and stuff like that. But then this is literally me making it very clear and straightforward. Some people will say it's SMC, but then SMC has various entry models also, and this is also one of them. But then when you refine it to a significant extent, you realize what works and what doesn't. And what I realize is that it works more on higher time frame. So let's get into it. I believe everyone on this video already understands market structure. I believe everyone already understands market structure, so I don't need to be explaining this. This is a break of structure, break of structure, break of structure. But one thing that I noticed while I was studying is that most of the time, when the market creates a shift, some people call it change of character, some people call it MFS, it is still the same thing. So once you see a shift and a break of structure, it always leaves behind a major point of interest that the market can come back into and pick an entry and still go in a direction. But how do you go about it once you start mapping it out? And like I said, it doesn't happen often. I'll still go to another chart. I've tried to make this very, very short. So once you see a break of structure, break of structure, break of structure, and it has created a low, this is for the buy setup now, it has created a low, then it now shifted and created a break of structure. Once it has done that, that area that it started the move is a major area that price can always come back to pick an entry from. But how do you know if it is going to come back for it? This is how you notice. Once it creates that break of structure, it starts creating a shift again. It creates a very clear eye that you can target again. And what does it do? It creates a shift. Then it creates another break of structure. Then it plays around that entry. Then you see the other block sitting pretty. And what makes it valid? You clearly see something like this, a liquidity sweeping candle. Like most of the time, once you see a liquidity sweeping candle that is followed by a bullish engulfing, it makes it more valid. It makes it more valid. Normally, some people will have tried to enter here and they will have hit SM using this as inducement, forgetting that there's a major area below. And that was exactly what the markets used, as you can see. And that was what the markets used for this one. And what did it do again? It bought to sell. Because while it was going back, it created an inducement here. And this was also a valid order block. And what did the market do? What did the market do? The market came back, picked the entry, and is currently selling. But let's now go to the other pairs, and it works on a lot of pairs, but you majorly see it on higher time frame. This is also another example. Like I said, you clearly see the break of structure, and it will come back after creating an inducement. And what did I say makes it valid? You see that the candle sweeps the candles beside it with an engulfing candle. As you can see, this candle swept these two beside it, and it was followed by an engulfing candle. That was what made it more valid than this one. And what did it do? The market tapped into it. The market tapped into it and is currently buying. And even inside the movement, it's creating a mini uptrend also. It's creating a mini uptrend. I won't be surprised that this trade will eventually hit TP. Then let's go down. This is another example. It rarely occurs, but most of the time, you would notice that it's usually formed when it clears the previous candles. You'll notice that it cleared the previous candles. Let me see, who is still trying to enter. You will notice that it cleared the previous candle and it was followed by an engulfing. And it created a break of structure. And it also has a target, an external range liquidity, and an inducement before it. But whenever you see it on a 4-hour time frame, it is usually like a banker trade. You might just see one in 1 month or two. max in a month. But whenever you see it, once it is on a 4-hour time frame, it is like 8 out of 10 times it will play out. 8 out of 10 times it will play out. 8 out of 10 times it will definitely play out. As you can see, it will always play out. This is a perfect example. You can clearly see it with inducement, and they got to the target. It will always come back for that other block on the higher time frame. This is another example again. Same thing. Profitable trading is boring because you have to keep repeating the same thing. You can clearly see it also. You can also see it with an inducement. You can clearly see it with an inducement. And what did he do? He got into the area and went straight to the target. But like I said, it works better on the higher time frame. I think there's one more. Let me see. Okay, I think that's all. So I think I showed this. Let me go to the next pair, GBP-AUD. GBP-AUD. Similar vibe also. See how long it went. As long as it creates break of structures and come back with inducements before it, you can clearly see one here. You can clearly see it. And what did he do? He picked the order and you target. And another key again is that you shouldn't be targeting very high IRR. I normally advise 4, 5, 3 point something. Just target the nearest external range liquidity. That is the key. Let me show you the other one. Target the nearest external range liquidity. This is a 5 RR trade. You can see that this is the nearest one. If you were using this, it would be too small, but you still give you your 3 RR. If you are doing this, you would have been out of the trade since. But the 5 RR took longer as it should. Then let me check for the second one. So that will show you the RR. It has good RR. This is also 5 RR. So it always has good risk to reward ratio, but it doesn't happen often. But whenever you see it on the higher time frame, it's like a banker. 7 to 8 out of 10 times it will play out on any pair. I've shown you GBP-AUD, I've shown you Euro AUD, I've shown you on USD card. Where's USD card? Where is USD card? So I've shown you on USD card also. I've shown you on USD card. You can see this is 6 RR. This one is also 5 RR. It always gives good RR whenever you see. This was a clean buy to sell, sell to buy. Very, very clean setup. And it's the same pattern. It's the same pattern. Then the next one is on Euro USD. Let me check. I think I prepared one on that too. Let's go to May. Let's go back. So I'm just trying to show you different examples. See what I was saying. The same vibe. You will see it shifts. It usually, and another thing again is that it works a lot for buy setups. That's another discovery on its own. It works a lot on a buy setup. It works very well on buy setups. It works more for buys than sells. So kindly take note of that. Hope you have your notes. It works more for buy setups than sell. You can clearly see the other block. There's inducement. And another thing again is it can whine you. So how do you know that it is valid? You will clearly see that the other blocks before it are being mitigated. You will definitely see it. It is clearly, this one is clearly unmitigated and sitting pretty there. So anything that make price comes there, it always reacts, especially on the higher time frame. It will always react because there's so many orders there. You can see, if you check all the setup, there's always a sharp rejection. Once price gets there, you can see it. That's a sharp rejection. This is also a 4.4 RR. If you were targeting more, you could have gotten it to even this place. This is a 5 RR trade. But it works more on buy setups. You clearly see it shift, break of structure, break of structure, break of structure, break of structure. Then it comes back to the origin, as you can see. So whenever you see an inducement below, this might not work. So that's another thing you need to understand also. This might not work. This might not work. Once there's an order block before the main order block, most of the time it will not work because this is like the origin of the movement. So it came back to the origin of the movement to pick orders. And what did it do? It got straight to take profit. This is a 5 RR trade. But you need to take your time to study it. But then whenever you see it on higher time frame, it always works. It always works, but you will rarely see it. But whenever you do, just load it very well because it will always go your way, especially if it is a buy setup. So that is that. See the example again. And the reason why this worked was because we have already used this and this has already mitigated this area. And this was a valid order block also. As you can see, it broke structure, shift, break of structure. Then it came back to pick orders. You would always see that it will always give a sharp rejection. It will always give a sharp rejection in that area. It will always do that and target the next area. This is a 3 RR trade. So let's go again. Where is the next one? So this is also a similar one. But this one was a risky one. It wasn't really very, 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 very sharp like that. But then it still worked out because this candle cleared the candle before it, cleared the candle before it picked the liquidity and it bounced. This was a 4-hour trade. This was a 4-hour trade. This is
Okay, it's our risk reward ratio.
Yes, you see it. 4:1
Risk
ratio.
reward ratio.
Yes. You clearly see it. What's next? What's next? I think there's another one. I had another example. Yes. So the difference for this one is that this one swept liquidity and just pushed in that direction. But I feel like something happened during that. I knew it. It was an overnight movement. So I think that was the main reason why this happened. So by the time London session came in, they came in with guns blazing. So also the session that the trade triggered also matters. It also matters a lot. The reason why this happened was because it was around 10 p.m. Nigerian time. Sure, you understand? But it was a valid, very valid one. It was a very valid one. Created the inducements, came back for it.
My cousin don't laugh me tire.
But it always works very well on higher time frame. Always works very well on higher time frame. Let's see any other one. So this one, I don't know what the market is doing yet. It didn't come back for most of the other ones. It came back for this, but it broke it again because it was not valid. So if I'm looking for that kind of setup, you won't see it often, like I said. You won't see it often. But whenever you see it, it always works out so well. I think there's another one on GPP, JPY. I'm just trying to show you different examples. This is the current one that is currently running.
There's this one.
Please mute your mic. You can see that. You can see the rejection. It was very sharp.
After the explanation, you will not put in money, but you just use it to lend for a while. Then when you now have the money, you can now start. How about that?
Okay, that's good.
People should mute your mic.
Please mute your mic.
So as I was saying, this is a current one. I'm currently inside this trade. I'm inside this one specifically because I saw it too. I don't miss those kind of setups. Once I see it on the higher time frame. If by adventure price came for this one, this would have happened too. If it came for this first before this, but then it used this because it is also valid. You can clearly see it that it swept the previous candle. That's also another major factor. It swept the previous candle and it had an engulfing after the movement. So the price came back, just tapped into it and bounced. This will most likely or definitely eat that CP eventually. So most definitely eat that CP. It has already tapped into it. I think there's another one. This one, I'm patiently waiting for this one too, because I know it will play out if price comes for it. Yes, this is another one again. You can clearly see it. It swept the previous candle before it. Swept everything as a engulfing candle, very important before it. Then an inducement. And this is also a 3-hour trade. It doesn't show often, but whenever you see it, it always plays out on higher time frames, specifically 4 hours or 2 hours. You will see it. You will see it less. You won't see it often, but once you see it on 4 hours and 2-hour time frame, it is a banger. Like it is a banger. It always plays out. Then there's another one. Let me see. There should still be another one. I'm trying to be fast. Trying to be okay. I think we just did that. Okay. All right. So there's one more. I think it's gold. I think I have one on gold. Let me see. Does gold also do that too? Yes, this is one. Gold also do that too. Exactly. Gold also do it too. It works. You can see it on any pair. Like I said, as I'm showing you various examples, you can clearly see it. Break of structure. It always comes from an uptrend. So it can use any other block around that area that is valid. You can clearly see it. This also swept the previous candles before it. You can clearly see it. A valid order block, break of structure, inducement. Then it came for the entry and it gave almost 4 hours. Like I said, another important thing is when to exit, when to enter and when to exit your trade. Always make sure that you have a very clear area that you are closing your trade, but make sure that it is more than 3 hours. And 90%, 90 to 100% of the time, it is usually more than 3 hours. It is usually more than 3 hours, 90 to 100% of the time. It is usually more than 3 hours, usually between 3 to 5 to the nearest target. Usually between 3 to 5 hours. It's usually between that. And hope you understand. Let me show you on 1 hour. I think I did one on 1 hour. It doesn't really happen like that, but you can check it on your 1 hour too and back test. This is a perfect example. This is a recent one. This is a recent one.
Sorry to cut in, please.
I'm listening.
Hello, please. Sorry to cut in. I'm checking my chat now, and I was on Euro JPY.
Okay.
I think I'm seeing one there, but I don't know. It's looking like two, and it's not clear. I
Yeah,
want
if
to
it
know
is
which
not
one will
clear,
be
don't
more.
enter. It has to be very clear when you zoom out.
No, it is two. It is two. That's why I'm talking about the clear Euro JPY.
Okay.
I'm seeing two there.
Oh, okay. But like I said, it will always be clear. This is 1 hour time frame now. So it doesn't matter. You can see it on your other time frame too, but it's usually more valid on the higher time frame. It's usually more valid on the higher time frame. Give me a second.
So you're muted, do you know?
Yes, he said give him a second. So
Who are the people joining again? So as I was saying, you would always see it very clear. This is the 1 hour. This is a buy one. This is a buy setup. Let me see. I think I had the sell and coming, sha. So as you can see, break of structure, came back for it. And this is a valid order block too. Came back for it. Remember, target. Your target is always the nearest area. Always look out for the nearest area to exit your trade. This is a 6 hour. This is a 6 hour trade. It came back again, did the same thing with this order block. Picked it again. Remember, targets. This gave a 3 hour trade before it continued its movement. It's usually not very clear on the 1 hour, but oftentimes it usually works. So let me show you. I think I have a bearish example also. I think I have a bearish example. I think I have one. Let's see. Bearish. Where did this thing go? So this is a bearish example. Like I said, it usually works more for bullish. You can see that the bearish did not really go far, but it still gave 4 hour. You can clearly see it also. Break of structure, created a low. Look at how far the low is, and it created a mini uptrend back to the entry. Valid order block. Remember, I swept the candles before it. Bearish engulfing. My time is almost up. Bearish engulfing, and you can clearly see the sharp rejection. Like anytime you notice that there's a sharp rejection, it means it will most definitely go your way. That's one common thing that is common amongst the movement. You'd always see a sharp rejection. If there's no sharp rejection, that means it might not go your way, or probably you have entered the wrong one. So let me show you the orders again so you can see what I'm talking about. GBPAUD was, let me see. So let me quickly show you everything again before one file. Add down. Where did it go to? Okay. So this is what I was saying. You can see that this was very choppy because there was no sharp rejection, even though it eventually got to the target, but there was no sharp rejection because it was choppy. You can see how long it took. It took longer than the others. If you go through the Euro AUD, you clearly see sharp rejection. See it. So once you notice that it gives a sharp rejection, just put your mind at rest. You can clearly see a sharp rejection. Once it does that, just put your mind at rest. It's January. I think there's one more. Okay. Then which other one? USD card 2. You clearly see the sharp rejection. So just take note of that. You can clearly see it. You see a sharp rejection or a very good bullish candle. So those are the two major things that you will notice. You will notice it. So that will give you a signal that it is going to go in your way. That is the signal that you know is going to go in your way. Where is Euro USD? I think I showed you that. So same vibe. Yeah, is it? So as you can see, so just tap it and select this direction. Where is the April May? This still running. I clearly see it. See, to always give a sharp rejection. It's also a valid one. That's you to come for this. So just go back to your charts, review, practice, and see how it goes. But like I said, make sure you focus on those confirmation and you'll be fine eventually. Just make sure you focus on that and you'll be fine. It works out 7 to 8 out of 10 times, especially on the higher time frame. Once you catch it, you always see it very clear. This is a running one. It will always be sharp. Especially if it is on higher time frame. But you can try it on your 2 hours or 1 hour and see. But you have higher win rates on the higher time frame. So depending on the pair, it works on every pair. As you can see, I've shown you examples on like 8 different pairs. Show the example on like 8 different pairs. That is just it. It works very, 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 very well. So that will be all in this session. If you have any question, you can send it to my DM. You can send it to my DM. If you have any inquiry, you can send it to my DM. And I'll see you in the next class. What are we doing in the next class? We are going to be talking about risk management. So now that you have a setup that works, next thing is your risk management. How do you manage your risk properly? We'll get into that tomorrow. So this session is recorded. I'll drop the recorded video on Google Drive, then I'll drop the link on the group so you can go through it again and review. So that will be all for now. Enjoy the rest of your evening. So if you'd like to learn from me or want me to mentor you, I only have 4 variants of my one-on-one private mentorships, as you can see on the screen. If you have any inquiry, you can send me a DM via the Linktree link in the description, and you can also read more about each mentorship program via the Linktree link too. Thank you.
I only trade with TENTRADE. You should too.
Check the description in this video for more info.
Here, these are some of the exclusive benefits you get from me when you sign up with TENTRADE through my link and get any of the instant live funded accounts or the Express Challenge accounts. Send me a DM for any inquiry. TENTRADE has the fastest withdrawal in the industry, and they've been around since 2017, and they have trader friendly rules, and they want their traders to succeed. They have the best customer service in the industry too, and they are giving a personal account manager once you sign up. A trial will convince you and you are in safe hands. Don't forget to click the Linktree link in the description for any inquiry.
Follow me for more educative contents like this.